Today's episode is how to create opportunity with the power of your belief. Hello and welcome to the Successful, Sensitive and Intuitive Entrepreneur podcast. My name is Lydia Sophia Wilmsen and I am an intuitive success mentor for sensitive entrepreneurs. In this podcast, I speak about the challenges sensitive and intuitive entrepreneurs face. I offer you new perspectives and solutions, as well as experiences of other entrepreneurs. Plus, I speak about my personal experience of being a highly sensitive person who has successfully built and scaled 2 businesses. All of that with the goal to make you and your business even more successful in your very unique and authentic way. Have fun and enjoy. I am recording this episode now in Cyprus. I have 2 months ahead here in Cyprus. I will go back to Germany and other countries in between. However, 2 months in general here in Cyprus. It is amazing weather out there. However, I went into the house to record this episode for you. There still might be some noises outside because people are very active here. They are in their gardens, they build their houses. Life is much more on the street than it is, for example, in Germany. So you might hear some noises in the background. Okay, back to today's topic, how to create opportunity with the power of your belief. Why did I come up with this topic? I want to share 2 examples from my life today with you. The first one being an event I had at the airport last Friday when I flew to Cyprus. And the other one, just an idea like when you go mountain climbing, hiking, what I did yesterday. And it is super important to understand this concept because you can put it into action anywhere in life, whatever challenges life gives you, or also whatever next level you're wanting to go to. I have my 10-day group program coming up in November, and this will be exactly about that. How to step into the mindset to go to your next level. If that means going 6 figures, multiple 6 figures. If that means to keep where you are at, however, invite so much more ease and freedom while doing that, then this is the right spot for you. Some more information later on. Okay, so my situation at the airport was that I had everything because usually I know what to take to the airport. I fly very frequently. And then I arrived at the airport. I had so much time. I spoke to some clients and just 10 minutes before boarding, I thought like, now it's time. I went to the counter and they asked me about one specific paper I didn't have. I had no idea what it was. And it's something COVID related. You have to have this. You have to check in a different way, or you have to apply online for registration to go into the country. And I didn't have that. So I had 10 minutes. And after some questions of what do I do now? Because it was obviously, if you don't have that, you can't board the plane. You can't go to Cyprus. After a short freak out moment and asking them, what can I do? One of the guys came up with the idea I could just do this online. I could give it a go. It takes like some time, but perhaps you make it. So they gave me that specific email address, or not email address, that specific web address. And off I went. And you can imagine that this was very stressful. I had less than 10 minutes and not really good internet. I had no idea what to do. I had to put in a lot of numbers, and some people, it takes them the whole evening to do that. And there was another woman who couldn't make it in time. So she actually didn't board the plane. And there are many more people who don't, like the guy on the counter said, like 20 people a day miss their flights because of that. Not only to Cyprus, but Greece and other countries who have this specific document they need. Okay, and I learned very much from that. As you have guessed by now, I made it. And I came up with, like when I reflected on that, with 5 points which were necessary to make it happen. This was a high stress moment because if I hadn't made it, okay, I would have lost a lot of money. I would have needed to find a different way to fly. But flying is still not the easiest and the cheapest at the moment. So this would have included a lot of hassle. And I had everything pre-booked for Cyprus. So yeah, not very nice, at least. And also, if you have like such a short time frame, it is really, really stressful, even for me, even for the queen of ease, so to say. So what did I do in this moment where you need all your brains on the task at hand? First of all, I let go of negative thoughts. So number one was letting go of negative thoughts. I deliberately pushed out all thoughts of not making it again and again. So whenever this thought came of like, you can't make this happen, this does not work, like another thing didn't work and I tried to sign up with my email, it didn't work. The thought came, you can't make this happen. And again, I said like, no, I don't have time for those thoughts right now. Keep going. So number one, letting go of negative thoughts. Then number two, believing in yourself and your power. I reconnected with that feeling of my own power, my resilience and my ability to solve seemingly unsolvable situations because I have been there. I have made things happen other people don't make happen at airports, being alone in a country, no phone, no money, and still getting to my destination somehow, following intuition, meeting the right people. I even once checked in my nephew with Ryanair, and they don't have counters anymore, only if you have issues. There was a queue of over an hour, and I had to manually check him in. It wasn't possible. Everyone told me it's not possible. And somehow I made this work in 15 minutes. So I connected with, Lydia, you can do this. You have done things like that before. In those situations, and I mean in business in general, if you have a new goal of multiple 5-figure months, or inviting more ease, or working with a new type of client, you have to let go of negative thoughts, of all those thoughts, it's not possible. And you have to believe in yourself and your power in that moment. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Point number 3 is surrender to and detachment from the outcome. Also, this one is extremely important. So I detached from the outcome. I didn't have time to think about all the other scenarios if that didn't work. Like I could have sit there, and there were moments where I thought I would just give in. Like, why do that? Just let it be. And what then? No, I detached from the outcome. I was really very aware of the high chance of this not working out. And I decided I would have been fine with that. Even if it costs more money, more struggle, whatever. I knew if that was the case then, I would think about it then, and I would find a way then. So you don't need to worry right now. You can do that once that is the case, once that has happened. However, if you now focus on something you want to achieve, don't take that precious time and being attached to that outcome so that you can't work anymore. So be fine, like let go of that goal. Work towards that goal and at the same time, let go of that goal. Surrender to it, surrender to the flow, whatever happens. I needed to do that. If I was like really stuck in my mind, I need to get into the plane. Guess what? I wouldn't have my brains to do the work at hand. And with that, number 4, give your best. With that in mind, I gave my best. I let go of all the thoughts around it and I worked towards the achievement until the last minute. Until the last minute, I didn't know if I would be able to do that. I kept going nevertheless. This is detaching from the outcome and still working towards it until the end. It's a little bit like my hiking experience yesterday. You go and then there is this moment where you think like, oh, I'm so exhausted. I'm done. I don't want to keep going. And you still keep going. You detach from the outcome if you ever make it to the top or to the end of your route. It's not important. You just keep going. And you set this goal to yourself and you keep going. You don't think of like, I'm done with that. I turn around. No, you keep going. That is your goal. You're committed to your goal. You detach from it. You don't think about it anymore. And you go step after step after step. Because it's much nicer to get to the end and reach your goal or not even reach your goal and still know you have given your best. The idea of not reaching a goal and knowing you have actually not given your best is the worst. And then last part is believing in and expecting it to work out. So I did believe in the small percentage of it working out. And I gave my all to that small chance. And very often in life, it is like that. We don't believe in it working out. And that is why we don't work against or towards that properly. And I believed in this 20% chance of making it to Cyprus, of getting this stupid paper online with all odds against me. as I said, there were people who didn't make it to that plane and who started the whole process much earlier than I did it. So I just believed in there is still a chance to make it, and I give it my all until the end. And guess what? It worked. So if you translate that now into your goal, for example, of making multiple 5 figures a month, perhaps you make like 5 to 10K a month, and you want to do this continuously, and you want to increase it to 10, 20, 30K. You have never done that. So this is a goal like I had never done this scenario at an airport. It's something new. It brings up kind of stress because you don't know how actually is this going to work. And you do the same things, as I just said. One of the most important things is to let go of negative thoughts. This continuous cycle in your mind of this is not going to work, I can't do this. You need to stop that. And the higher you go, the more ambitious you get, the stronger those feelings are going to get. Because you are going out of your comfort zone more and more. So the higher you go, the further you go, the more it is about mind control, so to say, your own mind control. It is so much more about your mindset than it is about strategy. Strategy will come from a strong mindset. It is not that it's not needed at all. However, your strong mindset is what fuels the whole process. And then you have to reconnect with that feeling that you have done things before, especially if you want to invite more ease into the process and more flow and more alignment and more like working with your intuition. You have to reconnect with that feeling in yourself of your own power and that you can do it, because otherwise you will always look into the outside what other people did and that you can't do it. Because you will always look at people who are better in some kind of form than you are and you feel less worthy than, less able than. And you have to reconnect with that part in you who has already achieved amazing things and can do this as well, because this might be a new and bigger goal. However, you have been there before on a lower or a different level. Perhaps if you started or when you started your business, you never knew if this was going to work out. You still did it. So it was the same scenario, just on a different level. And you can reconnect with that power in yourself. And then detach from the outcome. It is not about making multiple 5-figure this month. Yes, it is. This is the goal you're working towards too. And at the same time, you totally forget about this goal. You detach from it. You don't think about this anymore because now you have the work to do. Now you focus on your work every freaking day. This is what I do with my 7-figure goal. I don't think about this every month. I do think about it once a month and then I let it go and I focus on becoming that person who makes 7 figures a year. And I follow my desires, I follow my dreams. I work with the negative thoughts arising and I have my own methods of silencing those thoughts or doing the shadow work if something deeper is happening there. So detach from the outcome. Like if I had sitting there next to the plane, if I had thought about getting onto this plane every second, I wouldn't have done the work because I would have been so preoccupied with the idea, with the goal, I need to be on that plane. I need to be on that plane. Guess what? I wouldn't have been able to think anything else. So if you constantly think, I need to make this work, I need to make this number this month, this money needs to come in, and you're checking your bank accounts every day if that money has come in. Yeah, your energy is not aligned with your true desires and what your intuition tells you to do. Refocus on the work at hand, on the aligned work at hand. And then the next one I said, I gave my best and I worked towards the achievement until the end. This is key. Because this has happened to me and it happens to my clients all the time. We have the energy behind that goal. We want to go there. We want to invite ease and joy and pleasure and fun and all of that amazing stuff into our lives and into our businesses. We are like high on energy one day and the next day self-doubt kicks in and we don't do anything. We just sit there and feel bad and let even more negative self-talk arise. And no, there is no time for that. I didn't have time for that in those 8 minutes to fill out this stupid formula. I didn't have time to think about the scenario of not making it. There was just no time. I choose to spend my time differently. And you can choose to spend your time differently, to keep focusing on what needs to be done today, to focus on the intuitive glimpses aligned with your high goal, with your higher goal, the one you're having right now. So if you have a time frame of 1 month to make something happen, you give it a go. You go all in for the whole month, not only for the first day, no, for the whole month. You keep going, whatever shows up, if this is working or not. With my plane, I didn't know if this would work until the last minute, because I had to receive an email back with this flight pass thing. And I didn't know if this email would arrive. I didn't know until the last second if this worked or not. And the same very often it is with our high goals. For example, 3 years ago, I had this idea of making my first 6-figure year. And I made this in the last quarter. In the last quarter of the year, I made like 70 or 80K. It wasn't in the whole year before. So it was a goal for a year. So what I want to say with that, very often it happens like you do the work. You have heard me talking about bridging from where you are to where you go. And very often the internal work happens and the external physical shows up much later. So it could be that just in the end, in the last quarter of the month, you actually see the fruit of your labor and not before. And you have to be fine with that. You have to keep working, even though there is nothing showing up which shows you that this stuff is working, that you are actually, achieving your goal. And point number 5, you need to keep believing in that working out. You need to keep believing in your goal until the end, until the last day or the last minute of that month. So let me summarize that for you. If you have a big goal you're looking forward to achieving, stop listening to the stories that you can't make it. Stop listening to all that bullshit in your mind, to all that BS in your mind, that you don't know how to scale or what your next step is. Very often it shows up in like lack of clarity. I don't know what to do. Follow soul, follow your body. Then find examples of everything you have already overcome and achieved in your life and business. See yourself as the success you really are. And then surrender from the goal. Whether if it happens this year or next, get rid of your emotional attachment to the goal. Almost forget your goal. And from that place of detachment, go all in. Commit yourself fully, give it your all and more. Keep that energy going until you have reached the time frame you gave yourself. Go into positive expectation of it working out. Believe in that until the end. So if you want some support with that, it might be the time to either inquire about my one-to-one coaching for a month, or depending on what we speak about, it might be a different time frame for you, or my amazing group intensive, which happens in November, with beautiful entrepreneurs already in there. If you're interested in that process, in that program, reach out to me. It will be life-changing, I can tell you so much already. If you want further information, just send me a message and speak to you soon. You find everything you need to know in the show notes.